Hello Wokingham Gossip Girls, and I'd just like to apologise not for turning up to all of your houses, but there are 45,000 of them, so actually I haven't turned up to any of them unless I've met you in town or at an event. I've hosted an event in Shinfield that nobody turned up to, and I advertised as best I could. It's very difficult to get the information out there, but I would like you to try to identify with me. Now, I didn't stand as a candidate immediately. The first thing I did was I set up a Facebook page called Wokingham's Next MP, and I was going to pay for somebody else's deposit. All they had to do is sign up. And if you go to my website, kaz.loku.co.uk, and look at the policies, in the first 5 policies, that is always what I've wanted. I'm not willing to vote for anyone who is not willing to sign a contract to call for and support those measures in Parliament. Because who wouldn't? They're all fair, they're all decent, and you're not asking them to pass them, you're just to call for and support them as a matter of priority. It gets that discussion into Parliament. So once I had this revelation that I needed someone who was willing to do that as my representative, I tried to find them. Nobody paid any attention and got involved. And then I asked the other candidates, of which the UKIP chap, Phil and Adrian from Green, showed a sort of interest, but they didn't say no, but they just wouldn't get to it. When I did stand, it was that last minute decision where if I don't stand, I can't stand. So my nomination papers actually went in on the last possible day before I went on holiday, so it was actually a week before. And so now I'm standing. Now I want you to identify with my scenario. Imagine, out of disdain and hate, not hatred, but just disappointment for these lies in politics over the last, well, as far as I'm concerned, I decided that it was just a farce. From about 2010, I literally, why bother voting anymore? The Labour Party wasn't even a Labour Party anymore under Tony Blair, and Gordon Brown sold off the gold, and the Tories allowed banking scandals to take place. It's all just shocking how corrupt it seems to be to me. So I realise that I can't change it from within the system, and I don't think we can change it from within the system. Then once you've made that decision, you decide you're going to stand and you're going to make it offering something that people really can take hope in. So I've made a contract that I cannot break my promises, which is what everybody's complaining about. Now, put it from my context there, how do I get that message out? Well, I rely on you to get that message out. But, imagine you were in my situation, and hopefully in 5 years' time, one of you will be, because I don't intend to have a career in politics. Imagine now you've got a young family, but you're willing to put yourself out there and challenge these liars and say, no, here's a contract, match me. And hoping that other people will look at what you've done and say, no, look, they've signed a contract to support these policies, not everything, just a few basic ones. They've signed a contract to definitely call for and support these really good, fair things. Why won't you? And hopefully that for me would be the thing that would make you, instead of comparing lies on doorsteps, looking at policies and demanding the right for them to actually be contractual obligations to some degree. So I want you to try and imagine my frustration when now I hear a conversation of women saying none of them could be turning up to my doorstep. I've only had one counsellor. But if you were an individual offering to truly offer the change that people want, you need them to go and actively seek that information. And I've made it as clear as I possibly can. My name's quite unique, Kaz Lokachevsky, so you only have to type it in or type Kaz for Wokingham, and you can't help but find my information. And my main policy is just a clear, very distinct list of, it's like a manifesto but so much shorter. You can read the whole thing probably in 10 minutes. And then I've got a contract that makes it legally obliged to fulfil. And then there's links off of that which explain where I've come to where I am at. If you ask me a question, and where people have asked me questions, normally through 38 Degrees or through the email, then I've tried to give a video answer where appropriate. But I actually haven't received many email questions. I've received hundreds and hundreds through organisations like 38 Degrees, where I set up a repeat answer eventually, because again I have a full-time job and a young family. But trying to identify, if you want someone who has a real job and a real family to represent you, they can't possibly visit 45,000 homes. If I never saw my family for the 3 months prior to the election, I wouldn't be able to get through 5% of you. So please do spread the word, look at the details there are on the internet, and try to imagine that you would be the next person. I want to help somebody be the next person in 5 years' time, to make the commitments that I've made on the first 5, not all of them, because they're supposed to be what Wokingham wants. But I want to help the next person in 5 years' time to do what I'm doing. But I don't expect me and that person to go knocking on 45,000 doors, because we need to get people to help themselves by making it, you have the right to fair information. Anyway, so do please vote for Kaz, have a look, and I'm sorry I can't visit you, but just thought I'd explain why. Thank you.